previous video of hashtag 7, we learned how to use the like clause and how to use the limit word keyword. So basically today we are going to discuss two things. That is, the first is the offset keyword and the second is the some of the wildcards that we use with the like clause. So basically these two are the extensions of the things that we have learned in the previous video. So let's begin with the video. Okay, first of all, I'll create a sample database for all of you. Whereas let's just use the existing database. So let's see how many databases are there. Okay, let's use sample. Let's say so use sample. Okay, so now let me create a new table. So create table uh, sample one, and let only be one field name inside it. So that it's a name and it's a varchar, suppose. So it's 50 words, and okay, that's just one table. So let me now first add some records into it so that I can explain you the offset keyword and the wildcards with the like clause. So now I have added a few records into the table. So let's check out those records. So select star from the table name, that is sample1. Okay, so I have the following records inside it, that is black, blue, bloom, block, rad, cat, crt, bit, bot and bat. So now suppose here only I have 4, 3 and 3, that is 10 records, but suppose you have a list of let's say 5,000 or 10,000 such words, and you need a list of words which start with the letter B and L. So would you see the whole list and then sort out those letters? Of course no. So for that, in MySQL we have the like keyword that has been explained in the previous video. So I request all of you to watch that video before attending this video. So for that we have the like clause, and with the like clause we need to use some wildcards that I'll be showing you in this video. So let's start the query. So it is select star from the table, that is sample1, and now we will use the where clause. These are the most basic clauses that MySQL programmer must understand. So again I will request all of you to watch the playlist in a sequence wise manner, because we have made it in such a way that you learn from the most basic to the most advanced. So please watch the previous videos before attending these one. So we'll use the where clause, and now we'll write the name of the column, that is name. So where name like. This means that you are trying to search for something where the name is like what we are now going to write. That is name like BL and then percentage. Now I'll explain you what does this mean. So here after the where clause, the name like BL percentage means that the name should be like the thing written in the quotes. That means that it should be like BL, and the percentage here means that you can have a number of letters in any order you can have. So basically it means that you need the words or the names which are like BL and then anything you can have. So now when I run the query, it shows only those words that start with BL and end with anything, let's say ACKUE, OOM, and all that. So you get all the words which start with BL and end with anything. That's it for the percentage. Now suppose you need a word which which is a three-letter word, okay, and the middle word is A, that you also know. So how to find those words? So for that we have a similar query, but here we'll write select star from sample1 where name like Now we'll use the underscore wildcard. Now please notice that the percentage and the underscore, whatever I am writing, is a wildcard. A wildcard is a special kind of symbol which is used to tell MySQL that an underscore means any letter, any one letter, percentage means n number of letters, that is one or more characters, and a few more wildcards we are going to discuss now. So now we want three letter word which has the middle letter as A. So I'll write for underscore A and underscore. This means that we don't know the first word, so it's underscore. The second word should be A, and the third word we don't know, so it's underscore. So now when I write this query, it shows rat, cat, and bat. This means that these are the three words which have the middle letter A, and the other two can be anything as we had written in the query. The word which you want to search for, you know that it is a three-letter word, and the first letter is, let's say, you know that it is B, and the last is T, and the middlemost letter you don't know. So for that, what can we do to uh, find the word? And another thing that you know is that the middle word can be anyone from I or A that you know. Let's say we are making an instance. So for that you need to use the clause R like. R like means uh, like regular like. So it is a kind of a clause only that is used in MySQL for a special kind of filtration of the records. So if you know that the first word is, let's say you know it is B, the last is T, and the middle you know that it can be I or it can be an A. So put IA in the square brackets. This means that the first you know is capital B, last is the small t, you know that. But the middle word can be I or A, that is, it can be any of the letters inside the square bracket. Now when you run the query, you get all the words which have B at start and T at end and I and A in the middle. Now let's say you know the word you want shall not have an I or A in between. So for that, we just need to uh, add something to this query, that is the symbol of an upper arrow. So this means that you need B at start and T at end, and you don't need I and A in the middle, or else any character will work inside it. So when you press enter, you get bot. This means you had three words here. You can see bit, bot, and bat. So here you got only bot because bit and bat had A and I in the middle. So this was the functioning of the square bracket wildcard. Now let's see if you have a range of letters. For example, you know that the middle word should be from the range A to I, let's say, or A to J. So for that, you can write A dash J. This means that the first is B, last is T, and the middle word can be any alphabet from the range A to J. So when you run this query, you get bit and bat because A is there, which is inside this range, and I is also before J, so it will also be included. So if you want to specify any range in the alphabets, let's say P to T or M to Z, any range you can specify and you can get the word. Let us take another example. Let's say you want all the letters in which the third letter or the third alphabet is, let's say, O. So for that, what you can write is two underscores. That means the first and the second letter can be anything, and the third should be O. And then you make sure that you write percentage, which means that after that, n number of characters can be there. Either it can be 0 or 1 or 2, 3, n number, any number of characters you can have. But the O should be at the third position, which is indicated by the two underscores. The two underscore fix the two alphabets, that is, it can be from A to Z anything. The first underscore and second underscore can have any another alphabet. The third should be O, and after that, n number of characters. So it shows that there are zero such letters because we have used the clause here are like, because we use the are like only for the square brackets. So let me make change to this query. We use only like, and yes, the third letter O are shown with the third letter O words are shown. Okay, now you may be thinking that why with R like it didn't come. So for R like we have a different type of writing pattern. So for that you need to write two dots, which mean that one character can be there in place of it. Then the third should be O, and then it can be any. So these two dots symbolize two characters, and this dot and star symbolize n number of characters. That is, in R like the underscores are equivalent to dot, and the percentage is equivalent to dot star. So now if I run this query with R like, you can see that it has the same output. So in general cases, we usually use the like clause, but for that wildcard with that bracket one, you need to use R like. So there's a kind of exception you can say. You need to use R like clause only with it. So these were the basic wildcards which we have seen. Now let's see the use of the offset word. So for that, let me change the database so that you can understand the use of offset more clearly. So let me use the employee database. So use employee. Now let me see what tables are there so that I don't do any mistake in writing the name of the tables. So let's take the EMPL underscore salary table, and first let's see what all records are there inside it. So select star from EMPL underscore salary. Okay, we have this much records inside it. Now let's say you want the records from the third record. Let's say you don't want the record of David and Jennifer, and you want the records from John, Mike, Michael, and so on till the end. So for that, we need to write the query that is as follows. That is select star from the table name, that is EMPL underscore salary. And as you learned in the previous video, we use the limit word to limit our records up to 3 or 4 or how many records you want. So suppose I want the record from John to 1, 2, 3, 4 Cooper, let's say. So I limit it to 4 records. That is limit 4, which means that I will require only 4 records. And now I'll write offset, which means that now whatever number you write 2, 3, 4, 5, it will just ignore that number of records. Now if I write offset 2, it will ignore the first 2 records. That is, David and Jennifer will be ignored, and the record displaying will be started from John. So now let's run the query, and you can clearly see that John, Mike, Michael, and Cooper, that is from John, started, and the next 4 were displayed. Next 4 were displayed because we use limit 4, and offset 2 meant that the first 2 things were ignored. Now suppose we don't write limit and we write offset, let's say 5, which means it will ignore the first 5 records, that is David, Jennifer, John, Mike, and Michael, and it will show only the last 4, that is Cooper, Jonathan, Sophie, and Donald. The error was that we cannot use the offset without the limit keyword. So I can't use only the offset 5 directly, but I need to write select star, and then I need to put some limit. Let's say we need to put limit suppose 5, so we need 5. After 5 people we need the next 5 records, so it will show whatever next records are present. So it just shows after the 5 records the next 4 records. So that was all for today's video, and today we learned the offset keyword and some wildcards in MySQL. So I hope that you enjoyed the video, and make sure you subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit the like button and get notified so that we can supply you with the most interesting videos. Thank you and goodbye.